and welcome to GCSE Maths Help. Today we're going to be looking at circles and the key points you need to know for your exam. Let's get started. There are lots of rules to learn about the angles and lines that can be drawn within a circle. To recap from Key Stage 3, the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times r. The area of a circle is pi times r squared. A tangent is a line that touches the outside of the circle's circumference at a single point. So let's have a look at the rules we need to know. Rule 1. The angle at the centre of a circle is twice the size of the angle at the circumference if the lines have been drawn from the same points on the perimeter. Rule 2. All angles that are at the circumference that have been drawn from the same points on the perimeter are the same size. Rule 3. Any angle inside a semicircle is always equal to 90 degrees. Rule 4. Any four-sided shape drawn inside the circumference of a circle has angles that add up to 360 degrees. The angles opposite each other add up to 180 degrees. Rule 7. A sector is a portion of the circle drawn by two radii. So to calculate the sector area, we do the angle divided by 360 degrees times pi r squared. Rule 8. To calculate the arc length of the sector, we do the angle divided by 360 degrees times 2 pi r, or pi times d, which makes sense when you think about it because you're using the formula of the area or the circumference of the whole circle, but timesing it by the size of the angle for the portion of the circle that you're looking at. And then last but not least, Rule 9. The angle between the tangent and the triangle line inside the circle is always equal to the angle opposite inside the circle. These are rules that unfortunately you just need to spend the time learning, but once you know them, it'll make circle questions really easy because you'll be able to spot exactly what's happening in the diagrams. So out of all of the past paper questions I've looked through before making this video, each question I found only really needed one of the circle rules at a time, so the hardest bit really is identifying which rule it is they're looking at. But I found this question, which I'm going to go through, as it was the most complicated one I saw. So the question says, A, B, C, D and E are points on a circle. B, F, D and A, F, C are straight lines. DC is equal to DF. Work out the size of angle X. You must show your working, which may be on the diagram. So I'm going to have a look at the diagram and see if there are any circle rules that we recognise. So looking at point B and C, we're going up to the circumference on this side, and we're going up to the circumference on this side. So any angles that meet the circumference that are drawn from the same points, the angles are the same. So this angle of 24 degrees here is going to equal this angle here. So we can say that the angle at point D is equal to 24 degrees. We can also see that there's a triangle involved. DC is equal to DF, so that must mean it's an isosceles triangle. So we know that this angle at F and this angle at C are going to be equal for an isosceles triangle. So angle F is equal to angle C. But we also know that because it's a triangle, angle F plus angle C plus angle D is going to equal 180 degrees. So if we know that angle D is 24 degrees and the other two angles are equal to each other, they must equal 78 degrees. So angle F is equal to angle C, which is equal to 78 degrees. One of the other things that we were told in the question is that AFC is a straight line. So all of these angles here are sitting on a straight line. So we've got X plus 2X plus the 78 degrees that we've worked out are going to be equal to 180 degrees because it's a straight line. So if we minus 78 degrees from both sides, we've got 3x is equal to 102 degrees. So divide both sides by 3, we've got x is equal to 34 degrees. So the size of angle x is 34 degrees. Please go and give my exam questions video a watch about this topic because it's full of different questions asking about all the different circle rules there are. I've tried to find a question for most of them, so the video is a really good way of practicing spotting which circle rule you need in each instance. So the last thing that we need to cover in this topic is finding the equation of the tangent to the circle. So we know from our rules that the tangent of the circle and the radius are perpendicular to each other. So if we work out the gradient of the circumference at the point where they touch, using what we know from our linear graphs work, the gradient of the tangent must be -1 divided by the gradient of the circle at that point. So our question here says P -1, 4 is a point on a circle with centre 0. Work out the equation of the tangent to the circle at P. Give your answer in the form y equals mx plus c. So that's our usual equation for a line. So we know to calculate the gradient, we've got m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we need 2 points on the circle to help us find the gradient. So as we know, the radius is perpendicular to the tangent. So I'm going to draw that line in here. So from that line, we can see a change in gradient from point P to the centre of the circle. So these are going to be the two coordinates that we're going to use. We're going to use point P, which is -1, 4, and we're going to use the centre of the circle, which is 0, 0. So m is going to equal our y2 coordinate, which is 0, minus the y1 coordinate, which is 4, divided by x2 coordinate, which is 0, minus our x1 coordinate, which is -1. So that gives us -4 divided by 1, which gives us a gradient of -4. So that's the gradient of the circle at that point. So the gradient of the tangent, which is perpendicular, is going to be -1 divided by the gradient of the circle, which is -4, is equal to 1/4. So now we've got a value for m, we can put the coordinate into the equation and find a value for c. So we've got 4 is equal to 1/4 times -1 plus c. So 4 is equal to -1/4 plus c. So if we add 1/4 to both sides, we get c is equal to 17 divided by 4. So the gradient of the tangent is y equals 1/4 times x plus 17 over 4. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to have some practice at answering exam-style questions on this topic, click the link in the bio below. Don't forget to subscribe to GCSE Maths Help with the subscribe button below, or you can check out my Instagram page at GCSE Maths Help for more videos and tips. Thanks for watching.